it's Jamie here with yet some more books to share with you. Today I am sharing with you my TBR for August here. It's the last day of July, I got a few hours left. Pretty much I'll probably do a little bit of reading while lying in bed and get some sleep and get started. August for me is a crazy month because I'm part of a Goodreads group that does a anniversary challenge that is a lot of fun but very competitive, and I absolutely love it, but it is some insane reading is involved. So I have more books than I'm probably going to get to planned out for the month, and they have books that they planned for us that I'm going to attempt to read as well, and lots of buddy reads, and it's just going to be a fun month, but I don't know how much I'm going to get done. But hey, here's my ambitious tentative TBR for the month. We'll start off with the first book you can see earlier. That is for The Dead House by Dawn Krtajic, I believe is how you say the last name. If not, I do apologize. I technically started this last October, but did not get more than like 35 pages in and had to stop because another challenge I was doing is no longer qualified for, so I put this on hold and unfortunately didn't get back to it right away. So I'm going to be restarting that one from the beginning here this month and reading that because so far it was really good. What little bit I did read, and I heard great things about it. The next one here, I really didn't want to read this month because of this anniversary challenge, but I had two different people beg and plead with me to buddy read this with them. So I'm attempting it. I told myself I wanted to read this before I saw part 2 of the movie, and that is for It by Stephen King. I've seen the first part of the movie. I watched the miniseries version years ago. Really liked them both. It's a great story, but I've never actually read the book. But this here, it's 1,100 plus pages long, and it's a big book when I have a lot to read. So we'll see. I'll probably start it, but I don't know if I'm going to finish that one, but I'm going to try. Next up is, I read the first book, which was Alice by Christina Henry, and I read that. I don't have a cover, so I have some information across the top here, but I'll show you the spine there. And I read the first book in January. It's a very dark, twisted retelling of Alice in Wonderland, and this is the sequel, so we'll see how that goes. After that, I have The Walking Dead. This is The Fall of the Governor Part 1. It's by Robert Kirkman. This follows more closely to the comic series, so if you've read or seen the show, you know who the governor is either way, but there is some differences between the two. I've liked them both, and I'm liking the novels as well, so I'm continuing with the series there. Before I go into more of the physical stack, I'm going to change this up and show you some of the ebooks and a couple audiobooks I have planned for the month. I'll apologize, I do not have the actual pictures on my Kindle because it has barely any power left, and my charger has gone AWOL, so until that reappears or I buy a new one, if it doesn't show up by tonight, I'll be going shopping tomorrow. I have printed up some pictures though to be able to show you these books. So the first are some audiobooks, is these two right here, and that is for a series of unfortunate events. I want to do books, at least books 6 and 7. I'm hoping to do more than those two, but at least those two of the series. It just depends how much listening time I have put aside. The next one here is this one, and that's Comfort Food by Kitty Thomas. That is going to be a dark adult novel. I'm not too sure what I think of the summary. I may either really like this book or I may really hate it depending on the direction it goes. But it's not a very long one. It's nice and quick and easy. So let's give it a chance. This next one I've been wanting to read for a long time, and I'm not sure what the author's name is because it's printed on white, on cream. But it's The Geek's Guide to Unrequited Love right here, and I believe, if I can try to read this, it looks like it says Sarvenes Tosh. I'm honestly not sure. I'm so sorry. I should have looked this up before or noticed I couldn't read that to you as I'm going through this. So shame on me for that one. But that's one I've wanted to read for a couple years now and just have yet to get to. It seemed like it might be a nice, perfect, light summer read. The next one is going to be more of a fantasy style, and that is Poison here by Bridget Zinn. Again, not too long of a book, thank goodness, and just a nice, fun looking fantasy. After that, I have a contemporary here for My Unscripted Life, and that is by Lauren Morell. And That is one I've had for a while. I've been lightly curious of, but it takes a bit to get me to read the contemporary sometime. But when people offer to sit here going, "Oh, buddy, read this with you," I'm on board. And it's always good to have variety. I do like to read a wide variety of books. The next one is one I'm really, really excited for, and that is Moonbeam here by Adrienne Woods. I have loved her series thus far. It starts with Firebolt, and it is just a fantastic series. Magic schools, dragons, fantasy. It's the works. It has all the feels to it. It's a little cliche at parts, but it is one of my favorite fantasy series that I have. This is a what-if scenario if things have been different at the beginning of their lives and how that changed. So I'm very curious to see what she has going on with that. The next one is one I've read before, but it's been a while, and that is Prep School Confidential. That is by Cara Taylor. I actually owned the first 2 books, but read the first one and never got to the second one, and I figured it's time to continue and pick that series back up again. So I'm going to try to read the first book here this month to refresh myself and go from there. Next up we have Here We Are Now, and that is by Jasmine Warga, it looks like. Again, if I'm mispronouncing names, really sorry. And then next to that is House by Frank Peretti and Ted Decker. I like both their books they've done individually. We'll see how they can do on a collaboration. I'm not too sure. Ted Decker is usually lighter and the more fantastical, and Frank Peretti can read some pretty dark, serious stuff. So we'll see. But hey, Long May She Reign is the next one on my list. I've been really wanting to read that since February when it came out, and that is by Rhiannon Thomas. And the next one I technically have started, and I should have had in my last video. I apologize, I forgot to mention this one, and that is The Shadow Soul by Caitlin Davis. I am 9% into that one right now, literally just the first chapter. I read the prequel and liked that, and I'm picking up where that left off with book 1. Although so far it's all different characters and it looks like a different time setting, so we'll see where things really go with that. Next up after that is Hush Hush, and for some reason the author's name is not on here, but I believe it was Becca Fitzgerald, and if I'm wrong on that, 10 million apologies. I should know that. It's very popular, and so, but I've actually read the first graphic novel, and overall I liked it. It had me intrigued, but a lot of people said the book is so much better, so I definitely want to check that out. If the book is better than that, let's go with it. And so I've been wanting to read that for a while. I actually have the whole series on my Kindle and just have yet to get started. So we're going to start with book 1 this month, I hope. 2 last books that I have on my Kindle that I want to read. One is Above by Ilsa Morley, and the other one here is Thorn, and that is by Intisar Kanane. I'm not sure how you say that name, and again, I probably just utterly butchered that. I do apologize. But those are those are all the books I have planned on my Kindle to read as possibilities. So I'm hoping to enjoy some of those. Next up is books I've started since we had mentioned The Shadow Soul, but I have not yet finished them. The first one here being Inkspell. That is by Cornelia Funk. Started that one, but need to finish that up as an audiobook as well. This one's a bit of a slower pace, and it's not a short book, it's long. And it doesn't help that it's on CD, so I can't speed it up at all. So it's a bit slow to get through that one thus far. So we'll see how that continues. The next one I'm really enjoying, but it's a long one with a lot of details, and that is Battle Royale, and that is by Kashun Takame. And again, really good, just lots of details. So I'm hoping to get that finished up. With everything else, I may or may not try this month. I haven't quite decided, or if I want to just get a break because there's a lot going on in there. But I probably will. The next one is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood here. Sorry, it's a library book, so it has stickers all over it that I'm borrowing. And that is one, again, I've started and want to continue and finish that. So there's those so far. We are not done, guys, okay? We're about halfway through the total stacks, but more than halfway through what I want to show you, because I'm going to start to speed this up with some series. The next few books are books that have actually been requested by the group. They are the book of the month, so to speak, but there's several of them, and they did them as series. So there's actually one I don't have here, and I didn't put on here, and I should have, and that is Confess by Colleen Hoover. I've never read her books. I've heard some great things, but again, they're contemporaries, which I rarely get into. I'm just really picky, so that's kind of why, but I guess now's the month to try. The next ones here, I'm really skeptical with. Again, we're going back into the romance, and that is For the Summer I Turned Pretty and the Rest of the Books in the Series by Jenny Han. To be honest, when I read her first book of P.S. I Will Always Love You, I believe, or something along those lines with the title, it's a few that sound similar. But started reading that one, did not get into it. I know a lot of people loved it, and I'm sorry if that's one of your favorites. It just wasn't me. So I'm a little leery at this series and not super excited for this one, but they're worth a lot of points for the challenge, so I'm going to give them a shot anyways. Next up is probably for the chosen books for the month is my most favorite, and that is going to be regarding the series here. It's the Shifters series, so I'm guessing werewolves or other shifters, I don't know. It's by Rachel Vincent. I have 5 of the 6 books. I'm actually missing the 5th book. It's on its way for another library right now. So I got the others though so far from the library. Starts off with Stray and continues from there. So these it's a little more my alley, so I'm more excited for these. But there's 6 books, that's a lot of books to get through in a month of one series, so I don't know how far I will get through those, but we're going to start and give those a chance. Up next this is the last book of the month for them, and I just grabbed all 3. I did it this way as a 3-in-1, but it's actually for the series, so it's called The Forbidden Game for all 3. I think it's called the Hunter series or something. I know that's the first book is The Hunter. And it's The Hunter, the Chase, and the Kill. It's by L.J. Smith. I have read her Vampire Diaries books, or at least the first 5 of them. Not bad. I like her writing overall, so we'll see how this goes. This is a different style and take of story, so we'll see what I think of this one, but it looks decent. Since there are 3, well, it is a big book, it's not so intimidating in all reality. This next one, I'm not sure I'm actually going to get to this month. It's from the author that I got, is The Past is Rising, and that is by Catherine Bywaters. I was hoping to read this in July, just didn't happen, didn't get to it. So I'm hoping to do so this month, but I'm not going to overstress if I don't. If not, I will definitely read this next month. So there is that as well. I'm putting books everywhere right now. Sorry, it's a lot of books. The next one here, this is an older book, and I have a few by him, and that is the author is Roger Zelazny, and this one here is Isle of the Dead. It's a nice little short book, which I can use a few of these for this challenge to help make up for reading it. But I've had a few of his books and have yet to get to any of them. I've heard some good things from some people I know, so I'm going to give them a shot and see if I can still enjoy those. The next books here, sorry, I'm reaching forward to grab what I have on this table in front of me. I actually have read some of these years ago, and they've been sitting on my shelf alone and lonely because I could never find the rest of the series. Well, finally, the library has more of the books in the series. I'm not buying them at this point, but I will borrow them. And that is the Diadem series by John Peel. This is the first 6 here. There are more that are on their way. I don't know how many of these I'll read, but they are a light middle grade. This is the cover of the first book here. It's a primarily fantasy series. There is some sci-fi elements to them, depending which books in what world they're in. But I'll just show you these really briefly for the covers. But overall, this is a fun series from my memory, and I want to see what I really think of them after all these times. And this is just something to break up the monotony of some of the other heavier duty books. Okay, so one last series to show you. I don't have the first book with me, so I'll apologize for that. A friend is borrowing that currently, but should be returning that to me later this week, she said. But that is the Selection series by Kiara Cass. I have the others in the series right here. This is one, I know some people didn't like the series. I personally loved it. It's fun, light, fluffy. There's elements from the show of The Bachelor that are in here. I think it's a perfect summer read. You got royalty, you got a little bit of a dystopian aspect with some of the systems and what's going on in the world. So a lot of elements I like. I actually read the first book literally overnight. I couldn't put it down. I read it the whole evening. But I wanted to repick this up and read these again, so perfect timing. This is just something very light to get away if I'm just feeling dragged down through the month. I'll show you the covers of the other ones. Every single one of these, they wear this with the fanciest dresses, I tell you. So if you've never read this, I do recommend it. So this is a bunch of the short stories are in that one. And this continues here. It's technically part of the same series, but it's kind of like a sequel series, in my opinion. Or just these last two. So those are the books. That's all the books I have tentatively planned. If something is not striking my fancy or I get into a certain mood, I am a mood reader a lot, so I might just pick something else up. But that is what I'm hoping to get through, at least a lot of these this month. I doubt I will get through all of them because to truly do all of them will have me at about 2 books a day or 600 to 700 pages a day every day. And I don't think I have that much free time. I did plan on freeing up a lot of my time for this month because of this, but that's a lot. But we'll see how much I do read, and I'll let you know as the month progresses. Keep up with me. You can see kind of what's going on and how I'm doing on Goodreads and on Twitter a lot. And also don't forget, I might be showing things on Instagram periodically. Otherwise, I'll check back here once I'm done for the month. Let me know what you're reading or what you have planned for August, or if you've read any of these and what your thoughts were on them. I'd love to know. And see you later. Bye.